This question, the final one from Leftist Hominid. What leak is bigger, Jensen's prophecy or the Xbox FTC leak, the lawyer's prophecy? Alex, you basically coined the phrase Jensen's prophecy, which was based on a massive GeForce Now leak.
Hmm.
What do you think? Is this one bigger or smaller?
I mean, in terms of industry, this is bigger for sure. It has wide-reaching, it touches on everything that Microsoft is doing in the console space, and a little bit tangentially, I guess, on PC too. So, because there's that Bethesda part of the leak as well too, which is weird. But I think this is by far bigger. Even though personally, for me, I thought Jensen's prophecy was just kind of like this. That was actually funnier. This one is much more serious. I was laughing a lot about the Jensen's prophecy stuff because it was like, duh, these games exist on PC, is great. But this is serious. This is serious stuff.
Right. Okay. Thoughts, Oliver? Which one's bigger?
Well, Jensen's prophecy certainly had a lot of games that were rumored that almost all have materialized. That's certainly exciting. But this one, I think, is bigger. I mean, you have all these exhibits, like 10 exhibits, hundreds of megabytes of information that was attached to a document seemingly by someone on Microsoft's side, potentially a Microsoft lawyer, accidentally not removing those documents. And I mean, they touch on every aspect of Microsoft's business. Like there's financials in here, there's their future plans with regards to hardware. There's so many games, like in the Bethesda one they announced, or they not announced, but a lot of games have leaked from that as well. Effectively announced. I don't know. To me, I'm racking my brain. Like obviously we've had some big leaks recently, like the GTA 6 leak. To me, this is maybe even bigger than any leak I can recall in recent history. I mean, it's just so massive, so much detail to pour over, and so many huge implications for the future of Microsoft and games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's much bigger, simply because of all of the personal emails that are in there as well. You're getting an insight into the kind of mindset of the various execs at the various points. I guess it was kind of necessary to communicate in that way because of the pandemic. Everybody would have been working from home. A lot of this stuff dates from lockdown, right? So it's not as if you could have meetings in the Microsoft campus to discuss all of this stuff. So there's a lot more detail than you'd probably have expected. And yeah, maybe we'll talk about it at some point. There's, stuff like Phil discussing the possibilities of acquiring Nintendo. I guess the other thing which is kind of damaging is that there's, these are specific communications that have been taken out and presented as evidence to the FTC trial. But a lot of it is going to be lacking context, and especially to us as journalists and to, gamers who are reading these documents, the context is everything, nuance, all of that would just be gone. You're just left with these straight emails. I mean, Alex, God knows what people would make if they saw my DMs to you on Slack.
I know.
Yes.
I thought about it immediately. Like I felt for Phil. I was like, man, I post a lot on this Slack. I wouldn't want to see people to see my posts.
I mean,
sorry,
if you haven't seen Lethal Weapon and you read my DMs to Alex, God knows what he would think.
What you would think. Yeah, I know. Exactly.
It's hugely unfortunate that this has happened. Obviously, it's a goldmine for journalists, and it's a fascinating insight to a moment in time within Microsoft. And we do have, there's a lot of stuff there that is so commercially sensitive and so, you kind of feel dirty reading it, right? All of the stuff, specifically about how Microsoft have rated specific games for their suitability for inclusion on Game Pass, how much money they're willing to pay or suspect they think they'll have to pay in order to get a game onto Game Pass. $300 million for Jedi Survivor is what they thought they would have to pay. Surely that's much more than what the game cost to develop. It's like astonishing. So there's so much stuff in there that I do think this is a much bigger leak than Jensen's prophecy. Yeah. So kind of feel a bit icky talking about it almost, but there it is.